Vaush. I want to talk about Vaush. Vaush is a living, breathing Saturday Night Live skit. And again, I don't want to be. I am not going to come here and say this is a smart dude. This is not a dude I'm going to just come and debate. He would destroy me. More well read, more well spoken, bright dude. But he's just say, I'm going to show you why I think he's. It doesn't matter. You could be smart and still be a Saturday Night Live skit. You could be smart and still be stupid. It can happen on both ways. You can be smart and still not make sense. You can be book smart, but not common sense smart. So you can be influential and have issues. Does anybody know Vaush? I know you. Everybody's got to know Vaush. Watch his channel all the time. Very entertaining, very smart. Debates, talk. He's not afraid. Went on with Tim Pool. Give him credit for that. What leftist do you see on? There's only been literally a handful of people on the left who are based enough in the truth or courageous enough to go on with a podcast like Tim Pool. Jen Perlman was one of them. Very principled. Vaush, he does it because he's a smooth talker, in my opinion. He's not very principled. I'm going to do a quick shout out. Krupp, thank you for the $5 super chat. Greatly appreciate. Keep up this work. It's important. Our children depend on people like you, and like you as well. Thank you for supporting. I'm going to get into the Vaush comment. Before I do that, my next goals for the channel are to do some interviews. I don't like the green screen. This is so sloppy. I digress for a second. This is just so, I just don't like that. This is that's my basement. Okay. I'm gonna upgrade, try to get a background or something like that. And mic, I don't have a mixer. I need a mixer to mix my audio levels. So anything I want to, there was a story about a guy. I might do that on a different live, about a guy who was grifting off of his own Bitcoin, a YouTuber. That's why it's important. I like guys like Tim Pool, Eric July. They tell you if you're gonna spend some money and help out the channel, this is what I'm doing with it. So I'm very appreciative of that. Let's get to Vaush. YouTubers Vaush's comments. This is trending on Twitter. They put a description. This is the first time I've ever seen Vaush get a description. It's pretty big deal when you get a context to why you're trending. His comments about the conflict between Russia and Ukraine and the possibility of U.S. sanctions aimed at Russian leaders in a recent video have prompted criticism. Trust me, we will get to that video. That trending topic was a really nice way to say he was making a case for starving out innocent Russian citizens to death with no care or emotion. I'm gonna bring that context in on why I'm saying that. Tim Cast even talked about it on the after show yesterday. It was crazy. Here we go.
Actual geopolitical threats will change anything. I feel like the only thing we can do at this point is starve Russia out. We're wealthier than them by metrics. I mean, ally with all the countries in their periphery, sanction their leaders, cripple their economy, wait for them to bleed out, and then when they're ready to play ball, they can be a nice, compliant country.
I mean, but there's a lot of civilians that get hurt in that scenario.
In eastern Ukraine as well, yeah. But if they're going to be like that, if we do the
sanctions on Russia, is what I'm saying, that would hurt a lot of civilians.
Not as much as their missile strikes would hurt eastern Ukrainians, right? Again, keep in mind, this isn't out of spite.
So that he's on with, I believe that's Kyle Kalinske. I recognize the voice, and I think they had a discussion recently. So I think that's Kyle Kalinske in the background. So Vaush is saying, hey, we don't want bombs to drop. So how about we just starve out Russian citizens? And it's not just, I understand what he's saying. These are discussions that people really are having at that level. I'm going to let you know what my take is, but that's what he was saying. And what makes him a Saturday Night Live skit is not even just the content of what he's saying, which because that's a legitimate argument out there. It's just how nonchalant he says it. Just like, yeah, you know what? We'll just starve out the Russian citizens, the innocent ones. And Kyle Kalinski's like, wait, you mean like the innocent ones, like the innocent citizens? Like, oh yeah, Vaush is like, yeah, we'll just starve them out, we'll choke them out, and they can keep on. And he just kept on going. He just kept on going like he hadn't said anything. Bruh, you're talking about choking out and starving out citizens. Like, at least hesitate. Pretend like it's a tough decision. This came up in the after show with Timcast, and Tim Pool is actually like saying, "Hey, this is a legitimate argument, and I hear where you're coming from, Tim. I hear where you're coming from, but my thought is, don't we have other options?"
Listen to this from CNN's Natasha Bertrand. She did this reporting, quote, per a senior Ukrainian official, Biden told President Zelensky that a Russian invasion of Ukraine is now virtually certain and that Kiev could be sacked. Prepare for impact, Biden reportedly said. President Zelensky disagreed, and as I reported, asked him to tone down the rhetoric. What? Joe Biden is more worried about Russia than the president of Ukraine is? It looks that way.
Do you remember the time Vaush talked about reparations? And I'm not pro reparations, but I'm open to having the discussion. And we set out the topic and said, this is reparations for slavery. Listen to who he included. What is your definition of reparations?
Specifically on reparations, what do you view reparations as, more importantly?
So this is a big divide. Some people think like cash payments. I'm not a big fan of that. It doesn't fix the problem, for one. It's if you can put money into that community, but there's been research done on how long a dollar stays in a black neighborhood as opposed to a white neighborhood. And if a black neighborhood, all of the businesses are owned by, corporate boards that are all majority white, eventually the money filters out and you get a very temporary boost in living situation, not much long-term structural change. I'm a big fan of structural reparations, not based on race, but rather based on targeting neighborhoods that need it the most. Some of these neighborhoods are like white, I passed through some of them on my way out from Ronald Reagan Airport. I can tell which parts of this country, you can see it in the bones of the neighborhood.
Yes, you heard that correctly. He's defining reparations not even based on race. He included white people in reparations.
Rather based on targeting neighborhoods that need it the most. Some of these neighborhoods are like white, some of these neighborhoods are like white, some of these neighborhoods are like white,
Vaush, Charlie Kirk was asking about reparations in regards to slavery. Vaush, he does it so well. I can't do that. Like Vaush is clearly not for reparations, because what he described is not reparations. I'm not for reparations myself, because I think it's time to move on. Life isn't fair. Love the country and you will get stuff in return. But so Vaush is not for reparations, but he's afraid to say it. So eloquently. I've never heard someone so eloquent and so asinine at the same time. What's my takeaway? Vaush is a leftist, and with the libertarian taste of libertarianism in him. He's just like these crazy. He's crazy. He doesn't have that look in the eyes. He's very eloquent, but he's the same thing. Let me know what you think.